In this video, we're going to talk about data displays, and specifically data displays that are good for showing categorical data. In this section of our textbook, it talks a lot about different kinds of data displays, and some are good for displaying different kinds of data. So that's why there are so many data displays of different kinds. So first of all, we're going to look at bar graphs. And for a bar graph, the reason it is good for displaying categorical data, for example, in this bar graph, we have different colors that are represented. And there are specifically colors of beads. It's always good to label your graphs with a title, and this one says color of beads, so we know that that's what this is. And then over on the vertical axis here, we can see different numbers of beads, and each hash mark represents one bead. So we can represent the height of our bar to show the number of that particular color of beads. So for example, here pink, we know because the top of the bar is in line with the 7, that we have 7 pink beads. Here for purple, the top of the bar is in line with the 3, so we have 3 purple beads, etc. So these bar graphs are really good for showing categorical data, counting numbers of things in different categories. So another way to show something is we're counting things is by using a pictograph. A pictograph, it starts with the word picto, which is sort of like picture, and that's what a pictograph is. So here we have a key down here, and it says that every person here in this drawing, in this graph, represents 1 million people. And then we have different states over here. So we're talking about the populations of selected states, and each person here represents 1 million people, so we can count them. Georgia has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million people. You'll notice that a couple of the states like Idaho and Wyoming have parts of people. So half a person or something like that. So that just means that we cut that number in half. So Wyoming, we would say, only has 500,000 people. So just a different way to represent our data. Another representation, not so much of categorical data, but just a totally different way to represent data, is a pie graph. And over here, I have a pie graph or a circle graph. And it is the distribution of U.S. firms by size in 2015. And one thing I want you to notice is that in a pie graph, we divide the circle into segments, and each segment represents a percent of the total 100%. So in a pie graph, our total data represents 100%, and then we are representing different percentages of that data for different categories. So again, we have a key over here, and we can see that U.S. firms that have 1 to 4 employees are colored this peach color, and they represent 56% of all of the firms, at least that this person has surveyed in the U.S. they're saying it's all the US. So we can assume that they surveyed all of the US firms. So 56% are 1 to 4 employees, 19% are 5 to 9 employees because they're that blue color. The green color represents 10 to 19 employees. So you can see the different percentages correspond to those colors, but also the size of the slice represents the size of the percent of that circle that part of data is taking up. So there's a lot of correspondences in our pie graph. And it's really good when you're talking about a group of data and you want to break it up into percents or chunks of different sizes. So these are some of our data displays. We're going to talk in the next video about more different kinds of data displays.